to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about streaming on the internet. My name is Crunky.
And I'm Cherry Cake.
Today we're going to talk about Nintendo Labo, which is the new VR, actually Nintendo Labo VR specifically, the new Nintendo product that came out that's made out of cardboard and lets us see in 3D worlds.
Now is the future, we're paying for cardboard.
Exactly. That's kind of the attitude I had going into it, but before we get into Nintendo Labo VR, what have you been playing lately?
This week, I guess, well, it's probably about last week and a half, I've been actually catching up with Phoenix Wright, the new Ace Attorney trilogy that's just been released for the Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really on the fence about buying it because while I do like the Ace Attorney games, I tend to lose interest like halfway through.
I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
So it stops me too.
Yeah, I get into them. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. It's so great. The story's great. And I get to be a lawyer in a courtroom and find plot holes and etc. And then after I've done the first couple, I'm like, it's the same kind of thing, just a different story.
Feels a little repetitious.
Yeah, but I give it a fair shake, and I'm still playing it at the moment. I think I've just got to the third part in the first game.
Like the third case or whatever?
Yeah, it's really kind of neat how they break them up, and there is an actual overarching story to the whole thing as well, which is really cool. So while you get individual stories that you do play the part of a lawyer, and obviously go into the courtroom and defend your client or accuse people and do all that kind of thing, there is this whole backstory that you are looking into, and I think the cases that you generally come across do pertain to what's happened. I won't do any spoilers because there's obviously some people that haven't played them. I haven't played the second and third one in the trilogy, so I'm kind of looking forward to those as well.
Now, is it the deal where you have to finish the first one to go to the second one, or you can just launch any game you want? I think you can just launch any of them. Okay.
But I'm not sure if the plot is it's like a whole. It ranges over the whole trilogy or not. I don't know if it's just like contained in the first game or not. So I kind of don't want to skip the first game and go to the second one and have like spoilers. So,
right.
Yeah.
My problem with a game like that is like I could like if it grabs me, it'll be really interesting for my hour session or whatever I play, and then I put it down for a few days. I come back, I'm like, wait, now what was happening? Who is this person again? And I'm like, it's so hard to get back into.
Yeah. The good thing about the Phoenix Wright games is that I think they have a good pacing to each of the stories that you have to deal with. Yeah. And when you do go back to carry on, I think they do a little recap.
Oh, they do? That's great.
Yeah. I think that's at the beginning of each story, possibly. Don't quote me on that, because I can't actually remember.
Sure. But
I seem to remember something that it gives you a bit of a recap on it. So you're not going, like you say, if you do put it down for a few days or weeks even, then you go back to it. But it's quite a relatively linear plot line. Okay. So it's not going to confuse you so much as when you go back to it, like, wait,
I don't know, I'm pretty easily confused.
Well, this is true. Yeah.
I've never tried them. They were always available on to me, I only saw them on DS. Did they ever come to mobile too? I seem to think I remember hearing about that.
I could not tell you, I'm afraid.
Or maybe, I know they came to Steam at the same time they came to Switch
yeah.
Here last week or 2 weeks ago. But so overall, would you say you've enjoyed it so far?
I have, yeah. But like I say, I have played these before. I played the first Phoenix Wright game before, way back on the DS, and I enjoyed them then. They're nice if you want something. It's almost like a visual book.
Yeah.
Then there is quite a lot of dialogue in it as well. So if you like those kind of things, it's good. There's no real stress involved in it, and it's really satisfying when you do get one of the accusations right, or if you find a plot hole in someone's testimony, or just those little things. It's very satisfying game to play.
Nice. Well, it sounds like a good one worth picking up. It's only like $20, right? Or how much was it in the EU shop?
It's £30.
Oh, maybe it's more than that here.
Yeah, that is on the Switch. I think the Steam version is cheaper. But
okay.
Then I kind of debated with myself about this, but then I thought, you're getting essentially 3 games in the trilogy, so you're paying like £10 per game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's nothing, so yeah. If you enjoyed the old ones, then, and if you want, they have slightly upgraded graphics, well, I say slightly, upgraded graphics as well, which is really nice because you can actually see proper emotion on the characters now instead of like some pixelated mess. So that's really cool.
Is that person mad, or do they have to go to the bathroom? I can't tell.
Yeah.
I just pulled up Phoenix Wright on Steam while we were talking, and it's $30 US here too on Steam.
Right, okay.
So that's probably £25, right?
Yeah, it's slightly cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just while we're talking about Nintendo Switch, the demo for Box Boy and Box Girl came out yesterday, I want to say.
Ooh, I might have to
I have not played it yet, but the demo is out. I recommend, and for everybody listening, Box Boy is one of those like super casual puzzle platformer games that was on the 3DS, and my wife Dee, she absolutely loves it. We were at the GameStop, and they were trying to get her to pre-order it. I'm like, we're gonna get the digital version. Calm down, guys.
Yep,
but
yeah.
It's only $10, and that game is going to have, like, if you like puzzle games, actiony puzzle games, and you want to have a game you can pick up for 5 minutes, you can't beat $10. It's probably like £5.
Yeah.
EU. I would recommend giving it a look. Try the demo, and if you hate the demo, then you can save yourself the $10. But
yeah,
it's a game that kind of flew under the radar, but it's super underrated.
The only reason that I found out about this one was because there's a channel on YouTube that I follow. They do a roundup of they do a roundup every month of what's coming out, and this Box Boy and Box Girl was one of the ones that they included in it. And while I wasn't really paying attention to it, when I saw some gameplay, it actually looks really fun.
Yeah, and I think this is the first one that has co-op in it.
Yes, well, yeah.
Yeah, because you can control each Box Boy and Box Girl. Plus, there's like another character who's like a long boy or something. I don't know. He's like a longer piece.
Yeah, it's like a rectangular shape, isn't he?
Yeah, why wouldn't they call him rectangle instead of long boy?
Long boy's probably easier to say, isn't it? It's probably a one syllable like the rest.
It sounds a little dirtier.
Ooh. On the topic of these puzzle games, I was actually, while I was debating whether to get Phoenix Wright, I was looking on the Nintendo store and I came across Baba Is You, and I haven't bought it yet, but I kind of feel that I will in the future because it looks like a really, really interesting game.
I'm right there with you. I almost bought it twice, but if it wasn't for the game I'm about to talk about after or before Labo, I probably would have. But I'm in the middle of a game that is just like an epic freaking slog.
Yeah. Wait, what game are you in the middle of?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh.
You know that game you haven't finished either?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've been playing the hell out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I like it, but man, I get the real vibe as I play it. I'm like level 15. I feel like I should be 10 levels farther along in the story. Like, I feel really pressed to like do all the side missions because you need that XP. But the side missions are just, go do this, go talk to that person, go kill this tiger, go kill this.
Yeah, see, I didn't mind that. I didn't feel like it was a chore to go and do the side missions for me.
Yeah. I think, like, you know how when you're playing an RPG like that, there's like the really well-produced main story missions, and there's some good side missions, and then there's the one that like just the generic dialogue, okay, I will go kill him for you. Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
It really, I don't know, I kind of get the vibe that they're trying to sell me XP boosters. Because literally when I log in, it's like, don't forget, you could buy XP boosters. And I'm like, I am not buying your XP boosters, a-holes.
Nah, I just ignore them.
Yeah. But I really enjoy the game. I'll tell you, I may have mentioned this either on stream or on the last podcast. I don't really recall. But when Sekiro came out, I was really looking forward to it. And it just was not the right game for me at the time when it came out. And this came along and I'm like, oh, a game I can actually make progress in and level up and go do and have a story. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. And it's the first Assassin's Creed game I've ever played. I probably mentioned it before on here, but I've really been enjoying it. There is quite a bit of murder going on in this game.
Well, I think you mentioned this to me off stream actually after you'd kind of dipped your toe into it, and you mentioned that you can literally just kill everyone. Anyone you come across, if you choose to do so. I mean, like, you'll get a bounty on your head. You'll probably die, but you have the option if you really feel like in a psychotic mood to go and just destroy everything and burn everything. You have that option there if you want to.
Exactly. And you know what I've been doing on my playthrough is like I'm real casual playing it. I'm not even like barely even reading the dialogue. I'm playing it basically for the main stories because the main story is really good.
Yeah.
But like on the side missions, I'm just like, yeah. Okay. Go here, do that. Go here, do that.
Yeah.
And then like if guards attack me, I don't care if they're Athenians or if they're who's the bad guys in this?
Spartans.
You got the Spartans, the Athenians. I'm just killing everybody. And I have like the highest level bounties coming after me, like bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And I'm just killing them. You know, you start getting a couple of those. There's a spear kill she gets that does like 50% damage to everybody, no matter what level they are.
Yeah.
And you just wait till that reloads, go hide, wait till that reloads and go hide and just kill them all.
See, that would annoy me because I've had that issue with Odyssey where like I've been in a situation where I've killed someone and I've been put a bounty on me, and then randomly a mercenary would wander past, and then they would come and attack me, and then I'd kill that mercenary, and then 2 more would come, and then all the guards would come, and it's just not worth it in the end.
Pretty soon you got like 40 guys looking for you, and they all hide together.
Yep.
So I went on my build playthrough. I went through stealth and bow. I don't have hardly anything in the like the major warrior combat.
Mm.
So I have this ability that I can like, and I spec all my gear into poison, and I can like spread shot a bunch of poison arrows at everybody without it actually costing arrows. So what I do when I get a big group like that is just spread shot like 5 poison arrows and then go hide because my stealth is so good they can't find me.
So you did a completely different build to me then.
I bet I did.
I didn't do any of the very, very little of the hunter tree because I'm not like. I would much prefer to. I think I put more into the warrior. I would rather be up in their face and just look them in the eyes when I stab them to death, rather than being a bush and shoot arrows at them. I also found that the arrows didn't do as much damage as I was hoping them to, but maybe it's because it was early on. I don't know.
Yeah, I found that what they've done in that game is all the stacking you have to do is based on your gear and how high you are spec'd in that tree. Like, I don't know how far you are in the game, but you have to level up your spear to get some of the higher skills. Yeah. Once you get your spear to like level 5 or 6, those higher tier stuff are just like they just give you 50% more arrow damage on all your attacks, and it's like that's huge. But you have to sacrifice one of your other trees to get that high in that one, right? Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible to actually put all of your like if you can gain enough what do you call them?
Ability points.
Yes, thank you. If it's possible to get enough to put them in all of the categories.
Yeah, my gut tells me that you can't because it's just XP is so slow. Yeah, I don't think I'd have the patience to play it for the 500 hours it would take to get that much XP.
Yes, it's true.
But I mean, I say that I'm enjoying it. I've been like, what level are you in that game? Do you have any idea?
I think 30 to 40 something.
Oh, okay. So you played it quite a bit longer than I have because I'm like 17, 18 right now.
I think so. Anyway, maybe not. I can't actually remember. It's been a while since I last played it.
Yeah. I think I saw you streaming it a couple weeks ago when you were. I think 30 sounds about right if I remember right, or at least high 20s, if not that. Yeah.
Well, I started streaming it. I started playing it, and this was after I put it down for I don't know how many months after it had come out, and I honestly can't remember why I put it down because it's a fabulous game. It's really well done. The combat is well done. The main storyline is good, and it's just a really well done game. Yeah,
I think I may have mentioned this to you, but the reason I started playing it was Dee was playing it, and she has like what we all do, has new game syndrome. New game comes out, and it's like I'm bored of this other game that's amazing yesterday, but now this new game's out. But I was helping her like with her computer. Her computer was having trouble running a big open world game like that, and like going through some of the diagnostics on it. I kept watching the game. I'm like, this game is really awesome. I kept seeing it. I'm like, okay, I'll. And then like the next day, it went on sale on Steam for like $24 for the.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy in for that.
I think that actually coming back to what you were talking about when Dee was playing it, the one thing that does let it down is that it's not very optimized for streaming. Because you were saying that Dee had some real issues. I think I have problems with streaming it as well.
Yeah, without getting too technical, it really is not optimized for it's optimized for like the current architecture on processors. I had to upgrade Dee's computer from a Core i5 processor to a Core i7, and that made all the difference in the world. Even with the same other specs, it made all the difference in the world because she's got a good graphics card. So it relied too heavily on that. One thing I'll tell you and everybody that may be trying to play this game, there's a weird setting in the settings. Their settings menu is very unusual, that where you can turn off the cloud detail. That had the biggest performance impact to the game.
Cloud detail?
Yeah, there's like a cloud density. Don't quote me on the exact word, but it says something about the clouds or sky.
Right.
And you turn that down and the game runs like 30% better just with the same exact everything else.
Remember to do that next time.
It's ridiculous. But I've been trying to diagnose what was going on with Dee's computer. I was having problems. Now, just to give you an example, I have a really nice graphics card and processor, and when I launched the game, it was running at like 45 frames per second on my hardware. I turned down that cloud detail and it went up to 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
okay, fair enough.
It's a pretty big deal. But that's what we've been playing lately. Anything else that you've been playing you want to talk about?
No. Still grinding away on Yoshi. Still trying to get the collectibles.
Don't have all that open yet?
No.
Oh, okay. You just kind of playing it here and there, though, right?
Yeah. Just when I remember that I still have it.
Are you losing the desire to go 100% it, or is it just not enough time?
I'm okay at the moment. I think the real problem will be when I get to the last 3 stages.
Yeah, like the post-game ones that are super tough.
They are ridiculous. They're a proper, real challenge. Even just trying to get to the end, never mind doing any of the challenges. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with those. But for now, I'm happy enough just mooching through and playing like half an hour here and there, just trying to get some of the collectibles. Nice.
Well, last week... a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I'm losing track of my days, but we're a little bit late getting this episode out because of just the holidays and getting everything scheduled. But basically, I bought the Nintendo Labo VR for myself and my daughter to play. And if you haven't seen it, it's basically a cardboard thing you fold up, you slide your Switch inside it, and it's got a little plastic like goggles. Cherry, did you guys have this in England, the little viewfinder things, the orange viewfinder things that you'd put the discs in and click and it would show a little picture go around?
Yes.
I called them something else. Okay, I wasn't sure. How these things are like from my childhood, so they're like...
God, what do you call them?
We called them viewfinders, I want to say.
Oh, I think we had a different name for them, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, and they'd have these little these like circular cards you slide in them, and that would spin around. Okay, that's what this kind of reminds me of. I'm gonna tell you the pros and the cons of the system because it's got some really good things about it, like surprising for what it is, and then it's got some bad things about it. But it's kind of
made of cardboard.
Yeah. The cardboard is actually not terrible at all. It's really sturdy. We bought there's 2 versions of it. There's like a complete version for $80, and that comes with like all the bird and the elephant and all these weird accessories. And then there's the core unit, which is $40. Both of them come with the software that you need. And then this one comes with the goggles and the goggles kit, and then the gun that you mount to your face.
Yep.
And basically what it does is the plastic piece that hooks up to the cardboard that hooks up to your Switch has these giant like goggles that go over your eyes, and all the cardboard covers off and splits your vision, so it kind of works as stereoscopic. I have a really hard time seeing in stereoscopic vision because my left eye is so weak compared to my right eye, but I was still able to like enjoy it for what it was. And the strength of the system is that if you want to sit down with it's sort of like Wii Sports. If you want to sit down and have a quick VR experience where we like some of the little mini games that come with it when you're done putting it together are like basketball and drive a little car around, and little robots can fight, or play soccer, football. It's really like kiddie stuff. It says ages 6+ on this, but I think that's about right. You don't want to hand a 4-year-old your $300 Switch and have them chuck it around.
That's a good point. Yeah.
The gun thing was a little bit more. The gun aspect had a little bit more of a game to it, where you're like on a roller coaster track, and you go through these cities, and you have to shoot these little slimes and aliens, and then there's like giant bosses at the end of the levels. to record this podcast, I actually sat down and did all of the levels. I tried every game. And the only time I got nauseous was when I did the on-rail shooters. Something about, because you have to like look up and behind you and spin around real fast. Yeah. And the gun has this like spring load, or actually it's rubber band loaded because you have to put it together, cocking action like you would do a shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you pull it back and it locks in place and you push the trigger and the gun shakes when you shoot it, right? So it's a super immersive thing for a cheap toy. But the way I explain this to people who are like on the fence about Labo, if you're a huge Lego fan, like actually like to build Legos, or you have kids that like to, that's where this thing really shines, because all the money that goes into this is obviously not the cardboard. It's the design of the cardboard and printing it, right?
Yeah.
And the games. And when you sit down and play, when you sit down to like build it, they have this really good animated tutorial. It literally shows all the pieces. It tells you which sheet to get and which ones to poke out and how to fold it.
I've seen them.
You saw me stream it when we had the first Labo kit, right? Or you saw a different one somewhere else?
Possibly. I have seen it somewhere else, but I may have watched you as well.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. Like I actually, Molly and I sat down together. You know, she's 12. It's almost too old for her. Like she enjoyed it. Like once we got it put together, she played it for like 4 hours. So she had a good time with it. To be honest, I'm surprised because normally anything that's not Roblox, she plays for 20 minutes and goes, well, that was neat. I'm going back to Roblox.
Yeah.
But, that's just her. That's the thing that she found and she loves. But, they have this kit not kit. It's a section of the software called Design, and you can make your own games inside the 3D space.
Oh, nice.
And that if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, you can make like a first-person shooter. You can make a platformer. You can make a 3D action game where you control like a little guy, and you can color him and make objectives, and it's a lot more detailed than I expected. So, what I tell people who are on the fence about Labo VR, no, it's not anything close to, the $1,000 PC VR systems that are out there, or even the $300, whatever it is now, PlayStation VR. It's not going to touch those experiences, but it's more like having fun with Legos. The building aspect of it is fun, and then like the things you can do once it's together, it's actually pretty fun. I was surprised. Even Dee sat down and played the basketball one for a little bit.
Oh, nice. Well, I know with the first release of the Labo, not the VR version, they did, I think, was it like a little programming like application that you could use? There was something in not the VR one, but there was something in the original one that they had that you could use, and it was kind of like a very basic introduction into programming. So, exactly.
This is the VR aspect is an extension of that. They call it Toy-Con Garage.
Right.
So this is Toy-Con VR, but yeah, it's exactly like that, where you can like make your own Labo toys, like and make, you can basically program, because the way Labo works, for those of you guys who don't know, is you have this kit. And you could take the Joy-Cons off your Switch and put it in the kit. Like the gun, you have to put one of the Joy-Con handles in the barrel of the gun, and the other one goes on the side, and you use it to aim. The one inside the Joy-Con, the one inside the barrel of the gun tells the system where you're aiming, and like you could push buttons on it to do certain things, load your rockets or whatever, And the Toy-Con Garage lets you like say what responds to what. So you can make a game where you've got a robot in VR standing on the screen, and you say, okay, when someone pushes R on the left Joy-Con, it holds his left arm up. You get into that detail if you want, and you could assign a button to holding a shield up, or a button to shooting a gun, or a button to jumping, and you could also, like, especially in a first-person shooter, you can have you can actually control world elements with button commands and make two-player games. It's very, like, the world's your oyster. If I had more time and patience, I'd probably sit down and make one. I made a basic first-person shooter just to have a little bit of experience with it for this podcast. But Molly was really into it. In fact, earlier this week, Cherry wasn't feeling well last week, so I was going to sit down and record this episode with Molly, but I ended up not. We ran out of time. She had the day that we sat down to do it. I forgot she had a band meeting. She's in the school band, so I had to take her to that and didn't get home till like 8:30. But yeah, like I said, it's not going to be something that's going to that people should run out and get. But if you don't have kids, or if it doesn't already sound interesting to you, but I was surprised by it. I didn't expect it to be as fun as it was.
Yeah. How much did you pay for it, you say?
Ours was $40, so I think that'd be like 35 quid probably for you.
Is that everything you need for the VR version, or is it something from the original Labo that you need?
No, this is everything you need is in the $40 Labo kit.
Right. Okay.
In fact, I think I mentioned this to you during the week, but when I was building the gun, I built it downstairs on the kitchen table, and I just took my Switch down there and propped it up, and it took longer than the battery life for me to put it all together.
Oh dear!
So I had to stop, go charge the Switch up, and you can't build it without the directions because all the directions are on the Switch, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
It'd be like if you're, have you ever put together a really big or medium-sized Lego kit?
Not recently, no.
But when you were a kid, I'm sure you did, right? Or did you just play with Legos?
I kind of just played with them.
So when I was a kid, we for Christmas one year, I got a big car, right? And the instructions were 50 pages.
Yeah.
And if you lose those instructions, you're pretty much screwed because it's so complicated.
Yeah.
I used to get the Technic kits that had the little wheels and the axles, and you could put a battery powered thing in it that would make it actually move. So I don't know. I think that kind of stuff, if you have an engineering type mind, there's a lot of fun to be had with Labo for $40, and I guarantee you'll get your time out of it because just putting the shit together takes forever. Yeah.
Actually, the video that I was watching a couple of weeks ago when this was first released or announced, and the people that I was watching, they had hands-on experience with it, and they made quite a fair point of it being that one, it's quite a good introduction into VR for a relatively cheap price, while it not being on spec with the other VR kits in the field, like the Oculus Rift or the Vive or anything like that. Not paying anywhere near as much for them for the Labo. And also, too, that if you do suffer from motion sickness, I do personally, and I feel like VR would probably make me sick. But I feel with the Labo that because it's not attached to your head by anything, you're holding the machine to your face. Yeah. If it does get to a point that you feel that, you're feeling a little bit ill, you just take it off. Yep. There's no, an entrapped feeling that you would have with the other kits.
Exactly. The games because they tell you sit on a chair while you play it, and while you're sitting down, if you have just the base VR unit, you actually the Joy-Con's hooked to the side of the screen, and you hold it to your face like you're looking through a pair of binoculars, right? Yeah. And if you're sitting still and the game isn't moving, I had no problems. You just look around and, you pick up a thing and you do a thing with a thing, and that's it, right? But if you're playing the one with a gun, it was on on rails, a moving thing. I got pretty nauseous after about 20 minutes of that.
I think that's probably a common thing.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not saying that if you're looking for good modern graphic VR, don't even bother. But if you have a Switch, especially if you have kids, or if you want to tinker around with something, if you like building stuff, I would recommend it. I'm surprised by it, to be honest. I think I watched maybe I listened to an IGN podcast where they talked about being surprised by it. When you said that they were something about holding it to your face helped keep the nausea down. Yeah. I was listening to it the day that it came out, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get that and I'll try it. Maybe my daughter will like it. Maybe my wife will like it. Maybe, and we could talk about it on the podcast. And I'm here to say I was surprised. I had low expectations, and it beat those.
Is there any potential for longevity in this though, or is it kind of a little bit of a novelty thing?
Yeah, I think if you got really into building your own custom stuff, it would be fun. But yeah, it's definitely like the original Labo, or like if you build a Lego kit, once it's together, you put it on display or you take it apart and rebuild it another time, I guess. The games themselves don't lend themselves to any more. Like I would say there's as much longevity to Nintendo Labo's VR games, the ones in the $40 system, as there are to like a $40 eShop game. Like if you were to get a side scroller that was $40 that was fun for a little bit, and once you beat it, you were done. That's kind of that route. It's like once you go through all the games and you go, oh, you show I showed D. Oh, check this one out. And she played it for a bit. We probably had between me and her, we probably put 5 hours in it.
Yeah,
Molly probably put about that on her own. And we had a couple of different sessions, and it's still on there. So I know somebody's using it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, I think what you were saying earlier, the building aspect, I think, appeals to me more so than I would check out what the VR games were like, but I think I would be more bothered about building it. I think that would be where I enjoy the Labo.
So I think I almost forgot to say this. One of the main reasons I decided to pull the trigger on this was that in 3 days from when we're recording this on Easter Sunday, by the way.
Yes.
In 3 days, they're going to have a patch for Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Odyssey, where you're going to have 3D content available for it.
You did mention this, yes.
What I understand about what I've read, and I think I read a presser from Nintendo, so it's like vague and opaque about exactly what they're trying to say, but
it's not always.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple like bonus content levels or objectives in a couple of worlds on Mario Odyssey where you can use 3D. And what I think I've seen, and don't quote me on this, is like it's going to like instead of you like running around with Mario, it's going to plant your view like a camera somewhere, and you're going to be able to run Mario around in a 3D space and see him in 3D.
Yeah.
But Breath of the Wild, they're saying, is going to be you're going to play the game 100% in 3D if you want. But what I've heard the developers at Nintendo say is that what we really envision is for you to be playing Breath of the Wild and then go, ooh, this place is really cool. I want to see it in 3D, and just like push a button to go into 3D mode, pop the goggles on, and check it all out in real space. So I don't know. I'm going to check that, and I'll probably report back on the next time we do a What Have We Been Playing Lately on this podcast. So probably next week.
I'd be interested to see that and how they've gone about implementing the VR to those games, because one thing with VR is that while it's really interesting and like a good advancement that we've had in technology, I guess it's not at the point where I feel like we can fully play games in VR. I know there are ones like Skyrim, and then a few others that I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but
I know. Yeah.
I feel like it's not a full VR experience just quite yet, because you're still having to you're still sat and have controls in your hands, but while you have the VR set on your face and experiencing that, it's not. There's not like. For me, like a massive sense of real freedom in the VR games at the moment. But I still think there's some improvements that they could do. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with Mario and Zelda and how they're going to do it as well. Speaking
of immersion, have you seen this? This video has been around probably about a year, but there's this kit like these college students built where the person has a VR helmet on. They have like a fake like sensor gun in their hand, and they're on this like contraption where their feet have like smooth socks on them.
Yeah,
and they're standing in like a saucer almost, so their feet can move like they can run without actually going anywhere. Their feet kind of just slide.
Yeah,
and they're wearing some kind of harness that hangs them, so they can kind of like lean and move and duck and stuff.
This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know why. Like this is crazy futuristic stuff that will be years and years before we actually get like proper implementation of it. And it probably won't be available to everyone because how big is that thing?
Right.
So yeah, that's the kind of point that I'm trying to get across, is that while we do have VR, and it is good. It is great for what it is. You're still sat in the chair. You're not physically moving in the world that is being placed onto your eyes. So if that comes to pass,
it's like a chicken and egg thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Like they gotta make one that's awesome to sell it, but they gotta sell a bunch to be able to afford to make one that's big and awesome.
Yeah, I've seen. I don't know if it's the same one that you're looking at, but there was another one that I saw which was on Smarter Every Day on Facebook on YouTube, and he went. It was like a little production company that had designed this contraption, like you were saying, and basically what it was. Probably very similar, where you stood on, it was like a conveyor belt, but like a 360-degree conveyor belt.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, all directions. But the way that it worked was with sensors. So if you moved one way, this is while you're wearing the VR set, so obviously you're seeing something else than what is actually in real life. So the guy would move one way, and the conveyor belt would move with him because of the sensors that were placed around him. Yeah. And he had no harness on either. And while it was good, it was really, really neat to watch and see what they've done with that. It obviously still had a few issues in regards to moving fluidly while he was walking on the conveyor belt in VR. So I think they're on the right path. I think that's what the ultimate point is.
Man, yeah, imagine what VR is going to be like in like 20 years.
I'd say maybe a bit longer than 20 years.
You think so?
Yeah.
In 20 years, we're going to realize that we're already in VR. This is all just a simulation.
Yep. It's going to be so meta. We'll be in VR.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have for this week, Cherry. How can everybody get a hold of you?
If you guys do want to grab me in any way, shape or form, you can. I am on Twitter at cherrycake518, and I'm also on Twitch from time to time. That's twitch.tv/cherrycaketv. What about you, Crunk?
I'm also on the Twitters at Crunky with 2 N's, TTV, not TTY. Talk to you later. No, it's at Crunky TTV. And I'm also on Twitch at Crunky with 2 N's. Well, thanks everybody for being here. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.